Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. Today we'll be discussing what a better product information management solution through Pimcore can do for your organization. First, let's get some of the logistics out of the way. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar, which will be addressed following the presentation. For those who may be new to GoToWebinar, you can type in your questions in the webinar panel under the Questions tab. A recording of this webinar will be available on OSSCube's website shortly. You'll receive a link via email right when it's online. Following up with OSSCube is easy. Our full contact information will be displayed at the end of the webinar, or you can always email info@osscube.com. If you're viewing this live, the chat feature is a great option, or even feel free to reply to the confirmation email from this webinar. Finally, you can get the latest updates on OSSCube by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, and linking with us on LinkedIn. I'd now like to introduce our two guest speakers. Rakesh Kumar is the Vice President of Technology here at OSSCube. He has architected some of the most popular applications in the world. For example, MakeMyTrip.com is one of the largest travel websites, currently ranked 679 on Alexa. Today, Rakesh is working with OSSCube clients to advise on how to create technology platforms that can meet their long-term business objectives. We next have John Bernard, the Executive Vice President of North America. He brings over 20 years of thought leadership and a track record of growing market share for large companies such as IBM Global Services, as well as smaller companies like FileMark and Planet Associates. Under John's leadership, OSSCube was recognized as an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company in 2014 and will easily achieve this recognition again this year. I'd now like to pass it along to John Bernard.
Hi, how is everybody today? It's always retrospective when I talk about online marketing and things like that. I can remember way back when I was with Digital Equipment Corporation, I was involved in the Deck Direct catalog, which was arguably the first online catalog ever existed. We did it with green screens and short descriptions, and people had to send us emails in order to order, but it's amazing how things have evolved since then. Back then, we would have a list on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard, and that was our catalog. Today, we have very sophisticated project information management systems or different catalog systems to be able to control each one of our catalogs. We also have different ways of getting to our market. We call omni-channel marketing these days, which allows us to be more personal with our clients. We want to talk a little bit today about a use case, GoGo, and why Pimcore helped them to be successful in their business. So as we move along, and I think back, it amazes me right now that it takes 4 weeks to add a new product to a catalog. Back in the old days, if I decided we needed a new product, we entered it, and it was really simple. Today, there's processes to go through, there's different technologies, there's testing. No one wants to work on a live website, so you have several levels of input, testing, production, and then staging before you put things in production. And the reality is, if it takes you 4 weeks these days, you have a risk of being run over by your clients or by your competitors, because the world is moving very, very fast. Particularly when we get into B2C marketing, being fast and being nimble is absolutely critical. It amazes me how we've built inaccuracies into our system. There's the old haste makes waste, where you try to rush and then things don't go well and you have to do them twice. It always amazes me how people don't have time to do something right once, but they have time to do it twice. If you look at some of the statistics on this slide, it's amazing how much money is spent every year because of inefficiencies in the supply chain system, because systems aren't supported by technology or processes aren't in place to help you to move quickly. So what we want to talk a little bit today is how we can help you to fix that. Going from multi-channel to omni-channel is a big step. Multi-channel means you have one group looking at each channel individually, where omni-channel means you have one central input point that can be published dynamically to any channel that you have. What we're going to show you with GoGo is how we use the omni-channel approach to be able to centralize their merchandising center to be able to publish offers to anybody on a plane who wants to use a GoGo service. As we think back now, let's think about some of the steps on how to do all this. First of all, centralizing and consolidating is really key. It's very, very important that you have one place to do things. I've talked to many of my colleagues and friends that work in other big companies, and I still hear, well, this group has a spreadsheet, that group uses this tool, that group uses that tool. Somehow it all comes together on the site and on the e-commerce site. But even consumers can notice that. You'll notice different microsites are kind of obvious. You'll notice project descriptions aren't consistent. And that really hurts your experience with your client. Creating consistency in formatting really helps streamline the process, reduce overhead, and it really improves the customer experience. Because at the end of the day, what it's really all about is differentiating yourself and giving the customer the best experience possible so that they'll be loyal and buy your products. When we talk about building processes, one of the things that we do here at OSSCube is we like to provide advice to our clients. We like to understand your desired outcome, look at your situation, and help you to come up with a path to be successful. One of the things we talk about all the time is creating a technology platform that can enable your business objectives. And what I see a lot is technology's in place and people don't want to change it. It's the old, if it works, don't fix it syndrome. But yet when you have that problem, whether you have legacy information or legacy infrastructure, it's very, very difficult to keep up and move fast. You sort of settle into a rut, and then you keep doing it, and you keep reacting and reacting, and before you know it, you're very, very inefficient. The right way to go is to really step back, erase the whiteboard, and understand what kind of processes and what kind of technology you need to put in place for the future. How are you going to beat your competition? How are you going to improve that personal experience with your clients? How are you going to put yourself ahead of everybody else in the market? So rather than dragging legacy things behind you, take a deep breath, look ahead, and understand what evolution you have to do within your organization so that you can get where you need to go. In terms of product information enrichment, one of the things I see all the time when I look at e-commerce sites is everything looks the same. They have the same square tiles, they have the same boring description, they have the same flat picture. And as we talk and give advice to a lot of our clients, particularly the B2C clients, we like to talk about creating new experiences now. If you want to sell a restaurant experience, put a video, show how you can walk through the restaurant virtually and feel like you're there before you buy the coupon. If you have a product, be able to rotate it in 3D, be able to see a demonstration of the product actually working. So make the user feel like they're part of the experience before making the purchase. What that'll do is make them more sure about what they're purchasing and really help increase satisfaction, plus reduce returns and support calls and all that stuff that just pulls away from your margin. So take the opportunity while centralizing your catalog or your product information management system to really enhance the content and really improve that user experience. Finally, we want to talk about being able to optimize your marketing. What I find in a lot of the marketing courses I give to executives when I listen to them is they just want to sell to anybody. So it's basically take a shotgun, fire it in the air, and hope something hits. What I've always found is when you really focus on a target, identify the target, identify how to meet the target, and then go get the target is much, much more successful. Being able to use A/B testing, being able to do SEO and SEM optimization with focused keywords really is an advantage. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Really focus on who you want to sell to, understand what are their desires, create an experience that will differentiate you from your competition, and go get them. And I guarantee you that will help you to be much, much more successful. What I'd like to do now is introduce Rakesh Kumar to talk about the Pimcore platform and the GoGo use case so that he can tell you exactly how we did this and how it's being successful. Rakesh?
Thanks, John, and hi, everyone. I'm going to talk in a little bit more detail about Pimcore, and we'll also touch upon aspects of Pimcore that allows organizations to not only manage their organizational assets and channels, but also allows them to manage their entire web presence and e-commerce storefront. To begin with, Pimcore is a PHP-based open source application built on one of the most popular PHP frameworks, Zen framework. It is architected to support wide range of distribution channels with flexibility to control the distribution for each channel type. Pimcore is a platform, so it's designed to facilitate building applications on top of it without having to modify the source code for most part. It's faster, more flexible, and more designer and developer friendly than many other open source platforms out there. The three core components of Pimcore for data management is documents, assets, and objects, which allows developers to build applications from responsive, touch-ready, personalized microsites and landing pages to enterprise B2C, B2B e-commerce and integrated multi-channel product information management solutions. Pimcore provides the needed flexible master data management foundation to efficiently enable the process of creating an omni-channel centralized product information in a consistent way. Due to unique nature and flexibility of the Pimcore data model and its connect anything architecture, users can build data and asset management structure fitting 100% of enterprise product information management needs across all sectors and business models. And I'm talking about the integration aspects of Pimcore a little bit more. So Pimcore integrates very well. It is designed for interoperability and supports data integrations with different channels through out-of-the-box web services API. It is very easy and fast to integrate Pimcore with existing IT structures like ERP, CRM, or business intelligence systems. With very powerful marketing components like social media integration, search engine optimization and campaign management, and page performance monitoring components, and very mature targeting and personalization components built in, it makes Pimcore a complete platform to manage all aspects of enterprise master data and web presence needs. So again, revisiting some of the aspects of product information management, Pimcore provides a flexible master data management components through its documents, assets, and objects module. So these are the three core modules in Pimcore, and it allows you to define your own data objects and attributes without having to go through the source code for most part. The platform not only allows integration with existing IT environment, but also seamless integration is present among internal components as well. So the three components that I said, and three which are documents, assets, and objects components. So there is seamless integration and data exchange supported out of the box between these three components. So you're not essentially creating silo applications, but you're creating an integrated application that talks to each other through out-of-the-box data integration support. So you can basically reuse the digital assets stored in asset module to define your product information content in the objects module. Or you can reuse the graphics stored in the assets module to create web pages and storefront interfaces through documents module. Through object inheritance, you not only import the components, but also the meta information associated with the same. Now let's look at how the platform and the product information management capabilities allowed OSSCube to transform the most critical business processes of a leading provider of in-flight connectivity, GoGo. So talking a little bit about GoGo, as I said, you might already be aware about GoGo services, and there is a great chance that you might have already used the services it offers. So it's a leading global in-flight internet service provider. It offers in-flight internet services, and it also is also looking at venturing into entertainment, messaging, and voice services as well. The application which was replaced by our solution, designed over Pimcore, they call it Merchandising Center, and it's a mission-critical application for them. Merchandising Center is the application which allows them to manage their product portfolio and also configure the business logic for distribution to their own web and partners application channel. It's like the master data for their products and channels and the associated business logic. Now, what was the problem that we were trying to solve here? When GoGo contacted OSSCube, they were using a legacy vendor-controlled merchandising center application. While the application had served their needs during the foundation years of the business, the limitation it brought was coming in the way of the future growth plans and new product offerings that GoGo was planning on bringing to the market. So A, they did not control the application, so any enhancements they needed had to be done by the vendor, and it was an expensive and time-consuming process to get new features and changes done in the application. And the second being, it supported very limited product offerings and did not give GoGo the flexibility to configure their product offerings as per growing market demands. So now let's look at how did we solve this problem. We use Pimcore as the base platform to create the merchandising center application for GoGo, and also facilitated the transition from the existing system to the new system. The new system was designed for scalability and performance, and since the platform serves as the master distribution platform for the product offerings to various vendors and point-of-sale interfaces, it was important to make sure that the platform can support the level of traffic can also scale up to the future traffic and growth requirements. So the platform also allowed much more flexibility in terms of allowing product team to define different product offerings and also allow them to venture into a space with very different data attributes requirement, like entertainment packages, for example, or general merchandise. We also provided training programs for internal stakeholders to get them up to speed with the new platform. And the next slide, I'm going to talk about the high-level solution architecture of the platform. So this diagram gives a high-level solution architecture view of Pimcore and how it fits into the application ecosystem of the enterprise. A lot has been said about the components that Pimcore has and the extensive integration capabilities that is support that I talked about in the previous slide. In fact, everything in Pimcore is accessible through API. So like I said, Pimcore has an out-of-the-box API support. So it not only allows integration with the data models and the data that is present in Pimcore, but also an interface to the entire administration console of Pimcore. So the feature is available. So if a feature is available through the web interface, then it can be accessed and managed through the API as well. So practically, in theory, nobody actually needs to log into Pimcore to do anything. Everything can be done directly through the API interface that it offers. On top of it, some of the marketing-friendly features like SEO optimization, targeting and personalization, etc., makes it a complete application for managing the entire digital presence of an enterprise, both from data management and distribution and publishing standpoint. This slide explains the high-level deployment architecture at GoGo. As it is mentioned, the platform is deployed on AWS Virtual Private Cloud, multiple application servers for load balancing. Using RDS multi-AZ instance as data store, Redis-based elastic cache for content caching. In this case, the content is the product offering and associated details like channels and pricing, etc. So, as you see in the slide, that there are multiple application servers. There is a load balancer in front of it, and there is Amazon multi-AZ instance for MySQL to be used as and that is used as the database package. So that's the high-level architecture, deployment architecture of the GoGo platform. So let's talk a little bit about the business value that the platform added. So platform significantly enhanced the ability of enterprise to scale up to future business needs. They can now launch new product offerings much faster. Now they have a platform that they control. So any feature enhancements can be done without having to go through an expensive process of talking to the existing vendor and getting it done. The total cost of ownership has been significantly reduced, not only from the recurring licensing standpoint, but also the opportunity cost of not having a flexible platform that can adapt to the growing business needs. In the end, happy stakeholders as per the feedback that we have received from them. And the IT team, the in-house IT team, can now focus on managing the platform instead of managing the stakeholders' requirement and communicating with the vendor company. So to summarize, the key message here is that the Pimcore is a mature and robust platform, and it allows business organizations to manage their entire web presence and omni-channel content distribution needs. It is open source and built on the most popular PHP framework, which is Zen framework, and has been successfully adopted by many business enterprises. Now, GoGo being one such example that we talked about in this webinar. So it can scale very well to the growing business needs, and is out-of-the-box design for interoperability with the existing application ecosystem. So in a nutshell, it is enterprise ready to serve your entire web presence and data management needs. So at this stage, we would like to open for questions, and so let's take the questions that we have.
Thank you, Rakesh, and thank you, John. Appreciate that. So the first question to come up, what was the level of difficulty in moving data from GoGo's legacy system?
For this, we worked closely with in-house IT team to get the data from the legacy system and import the same in Pimcore. Pimcore allows for data import through multiple ways. You can either leverage the API interface to push data into Pimcore from external system, or use the web interface and import data through CSV. So we leverage the built-in capabilities to transfer the data from existing system to the new system. So in terms of level of difficulty, I wouldn't call it was very difficult. The only challenge I would say was to get the data in the format that was required from the existing legacy system. And we could just seamlessly move it to Pimcore.
Yeah, thank you. Next question. Earlier in the presentation, you touched upon personalization. Could you explain a little bit more about the level of personalization that Pimcore supports?
Yes, that's a good question, actually. Pimcore allows content personalization to display the relevant content as per user location and many other parameters, actually. So as a marketer, if you want to target your content to the user based on the demographics or based on their preferences, the city that they are coming from, or the IP range, you can configure this through the out-of-the-box personalization component that Pimcore has built in already. So, and this is not only true for the web content part, but also for the API interface as well. So what data you want to be served to your user, you can control through the personalization interface, which is very easy to use web-based interface, where you specify your parameters, select the demographics of the user, or any other parameter that you want to specify, and then select the content that will be served accordingly. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. We have time for one more question here. Rakesh, does Pimcore support integration with cloud storage, or does it store the digital assets locally?
It can do both, actually, and Pimcore can be integrated with the cloud storage platforms like S3, CloudFront, or many other CDN providers out there. We have done that in many projects in the past. So yes, it does support integration with the cloud storage platforms. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So that's about time for this webinar. I'd like to thank both of the speakers again. Thank you, John. Thank you, Rakesh. I'd like to thank the audience for joining us here today, and we look forward to hearing from